Hey, it's MK, and I am here with a mixed media mayhem recipe for you guys today, and I'm also following along with Follow a Sketch February. However, I mixed up the layouts, and I am actually doing sketch 18, so day 18 sketch for today's mixed media mayhem. I apologize. It happens. I was just so excited to do this layout and incorporate all of the fun elements that were picked for Mixed Media Mayhem that I couldn't wait to get started. I didn't even share with you guys all of the elements that I'm going to be putting on this page. Seriously, I show the paper and then bam, I instantly get into it. So one of the other things about this sketch is that I'm going to shrink it down to an 8.5 by 11. So I've got this off-white cardstock here that I will be using for my base page. I have some really fun elements. I don't remember where this wood grain came from, but I do know that it is one of the oldest pieces in my stash. So also too, I'm playing along with a little hop called Iron Crafters. It's something that Tara O'Rourke does on her Facebook group, and I rarely join in because I almost always forget about it. So today's Iron Crafter, one of the elements that you use is I think it's the only element that you add to your layout is an oldest paper in your stash. And so this wood grain, if you guys know where it's from, that would be great. If not, I know it's one of the oldest pieces I have in my stash. So I don't even know where it came from. I want to say it's close to my heart. But I could be wrong. I'm not really sure. The plaid is from Rest and Revs. I'm using that stash up. And then the green is also from 49 and Market, and it is from the Hike More collection. So using that collection up because I've just been using little bits at a time. So I love the grid pattern in this, and it really helps me with photos like this. The grid pattern helps a lot with photos that I just want to scrapbook and have story behind rather than it have faces and meanings and things like that. Plus, these kinds are super easy to embellish, in my opinion. I just feel like they're a lot more easier flowing creatively wise for me as far as embellishments goes. So I'm just going to divide and conquer. Basically, if I use it at the top, I want to use it at the bottom. So I want my wood grain to be at the top and bottom. I want the green to be at the top and bottom. And I want the plaid to be at the top and bottom. There it is. So this is just a rock formation. It's not even a formation. It's just a piece of rock that was at the Mono Lake. It's actually not called a museum. I've called it a museum in the past. It's not a museum. It's a, stars. I forgot what it's called. I'll have to get back to you on that one. It's like a resource visitor center type of thing that basically gives you knowledge of your surroundings, is what this is. It's a resource center for Mono Lake, which is in California, near Yosemite, to be honest, but overlooked, like really overlooked by anybody because the lake is not usable. It's viewed, it's knowledgeable, it has a huge history, which is my favorite part about it, but the lake is not usable for enjoyment, right? Because of its salt content and its ecosystem that it houses, which is actually really cool. So one of the other things that the people that volunteer for the visitor center also thought that it would be kind of cool to educate you on the landscaping that is around Mono Lake. So there's lots and lots of, I call them rock formations, but they're not really formations. They're just types of rock that can be found around Mono Lake, and some of the largest species of them have been moved to the visitor center. So my next couple pages in my album, not in my video series, but in my album, are of these rock formations. Nope, I keep calling them formations. Formations usually means a design of some sort, and this is not a design. It is just a giant rock, and this one happens to be of granite. And what it's really cool is they've got these really cool pillars next to each type of rock that explains why this piece of granite is awesome, right? Now, I don't have it in front of me, and clearly I can't read it on the screen, so I apologize that I don't get to go into my spiel of why granite is really cool, except for the fact that granite is now found in our homes more often than not. People have tabletops made out of granite. They have countertops made out of granite. They have anything that's basically a slick, smooth surface, because granite does not, if it's polished and shined up, it doesn't soak in bacteria like some things do. Some people have a granite countertop and, they'll throw a cutting board on it, but you don't have to. You can actually cut straight onto your granite countertop and not have to worry about anything else except maybe chicken, things like that have like a awful bacteria if it's not processed properly, that sort of thing. But anything else, you don't need all those extra toolings or anything like that. So I think granite's pretty cool. All right, so here's where I moved into the mixed media mayhem. I brought in my doily, I brought in my Nuvo drops, and I brought in my stamps. And one of the things that I have been wanting to do for a long time with my Nuvo drops or any type of paste is to stamp in them rather than use them as a stencil. I thought it would be a really cool technique and everything. And I had these very boring, especially the doily, that was very boring. And these boring labels that were from 2023's Advent calendar from SAR. I do have these, and I thought, well, I'm going to just splash on a little bit of this Nuvo drop that closely represents the color of blue that is in my plaid, and then stamping them. This random stamp that I just happen to have. Now, one of the things that you have to keep in mind is you want to thoroughly clean your stamp afterwards, or the Nuvo drop will dry to it. And because it's silicone, basically epoxy and silicone, they're almost the same thing. Silicone's flexible, epoxy is slightly not. It bows and bends, but it's not as flexible as silicone is. They'll adhere to each other, and then your stamp is ruined. So you want to make sure that you are able to clean your stamp ASAP as soon as you're done using it, especially with that thin of Nuvo drop, because then it's just dries. Like, I was able to use it right away. As soon as I got done cleaning my stamp, my Nuvo was dry on my doily and my labels. Okay, so I decided that I wanted to add a little bit of brightness to this layout. So I picked this orange color. I've got orange leaves and I've got this orange film strip, but I wanted to tuck it underneath and into my wood grain. And oh man, my adhesive was really stuck. It was not coming up at all. So I had to cut my pieces and make it look like I tucked it under. I did not. It's just faux tucked. And then, of course, I'm going to go ahead and add some chipboard to this layout. I picked out a couple chipboard pieces from the Hikemore collection as well. I liked the fact that I found the word naturalist, because that is perfect for what we are looking at. We are looking at nature and the beautiful aspects of a rock, right? And actually, like I said, a couple pages into my layout, I've got obsidian, something that ends with the word "ite," I'm not really sure, that are all featured in my album, because I just thought it was cool. You know, if the visitor center went through all this trouble to have these little pillars made for you to get to know a rock, I felt like it was worthy of my scrapbook as well, right? I mean, that's a lot of effort to teach us about a rock, that I'm going to bring it into my layout, right? That's just one thing. I could have put all of this in a pocket page, but this is more like an introduction to, and then all the rest of them about the rocks are pocket pages. Actually, I think I have one where my kids are really interested in it too, and that's my opening, and then it's actually a 12 by 12, because I think this is my second layout about a rock. I think so. I've got lots of layouts about rocks, you guys. Who am I kidding? Okay, so another thing too is I switched out the word flowers for leaves in my mixed media mayhem recipe. I didn't do flowers. I mean, it's just, this is not a very feminine layout about a rock. It's just not. So I thought leaves are perfect because there's leaves and greenery around the rock and around the pillar and whatnot. So it was perfect for my specific layout. It's still the inside the flora and fauna, well, not fauna, but the flora elements. Sometimes when you look up the word flora, you get a bunch of leaves. I'm just saying. So yes, I'm going to cheat a bit and add, my leaves instead of flowers. So another thing too, I think I got all of my recipe elements. I think I did. So I've got stamps, Nouveau, doily, all on one. So I stamped my doily with Nouveau. Isn't that cool? And I've got button. Oh, I haven't put my buttons on. There it is. There's my button and my leaves. And I think that's pretty cool because these buttons are also from 49 and Market, the Hike More collection. They might also have been from the Nature Study. I don't really remember that. These chipboard, now that I'm thinking about it, might also be from the Nature Study rather than Hike More, if I'm being honest. So I don't know. I do know that the little wood veneers are also from SAR. I just don't remember when or where because I probably have mixed them all up. They do look like several different collections, like the 3 that I'm not using up at the top look like from my Halloween release, and then the ones that I did end up using might have been from my May release where I had a large wood veneer floral arrangement out there. So anyways, who knows with me? I don't anymore. I'm just shocked that I'm using my own product on my own page. Weird. Okay, so I'm also bringing in that these chipboard pieces from the Botanical number 3 set that I used in a previous layout. I already inked them in crushed olive from Tim Holtz. Old Olive, I think, is a Stampin' Up color, but it's crushed olive from Tim Holtz, and I previously did that on another layout. And so yeah, here I am just making sure that I got all of my elements from the Mixed Media Mayhem, and I love it. And of course, I had to laugh at myself after I got done giggling, and I realized this is not the correct layout or sketch that was supposed to be for today. It's okay. There's no rules and there's no right or wrong way to do anything. I just was so excited to put this layout together. I mean, I visualized how this was going to look and what it looked like with everything in it. And I knew it was going to be my Mixed Media Mayhem layout. I just did. All right, you guys, don't forget to check out all the links down below. I have 2 playlists for you guys, as well as a couple links to some Facebook groups. If you guys aren't already following us over there on Facebook, go check them out. They're actually pretty cool. Lots and lots and lots of inspiration over there on those 2 groups, you guys. Awesome groups. All right. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will check y'all later. Bye.